sekolah dorang kasih ajar pasal sexual harassment. If someone touching you this it's not good, itu masih okay. Tapi kalau yang dorang mau
itu
macam ini masuk ini gitu enggak lah.
Ya. Welcome back to our JMT Vodcast. So, this time topik kita akan cakap mengenai sex education ataupun pendidikan seks. Now, bila cakap pasal sex education, ada satu case viralnya hari itu. I think everyone pun tahu regarding this case, which this one student perempuan, dia buat dakwaan bahawa guru lelaki dia telah membuat satu komen yang tidak senonoh lah during the class punya sex education punya class. Now, I know each and every one of you sangat eager untuk comment regarding the case, but before kita mengulas lebih lanjut mengenai the case, saya mau dengar dulu, apa actually pemahaman kamu secara pribadi pasal sex education? Now, siapa mau pergi dulu? Siapa yang paling smart?
What?
Let's go.
I'm smart?
I pick you.
I feel like a Pokemon.
Okay, saya pergi dulu lah.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Okay.
Good choice.
Saya rasa ini totally berdasarkan pemahaman saya dulu lah during saya study punya. Sex education bagi saya dulu cakap pasal of course lah kita punya reproductive system, itu yang sangat obvious sebab saya belajar masa saya form 3 if I'm not mistaken, form 3 or 4 macam tu. And then itu satu, and just pasal yang kondom begitu saja. The rest tu tidak menyeluruh orang bagi tahu. So kalau kamu mau tanya saya apa pendapat saya, kalau dulu lah secara pribadi, saya akan cakap itu. Itu saja. Kalau kamu orang, mungkin kamu orang pintar lagi lah dari saya.
I mean, we all know the Form 3 famous topic.
Reproductive system, yes.
About the reproductive system, yeah. But I don't know, I don't remember it being too in-depth lah in that topic. It's just, reproductive system, blah, blah, blah. They don't really go into what happens, when it happens. So, it's just...
apa yang happen when it happens? Apa tu?
Okay, yeah. So they did I remember they did a whole ceramah, I think, in my school. Yeah. Whole ceramah. Yeah, there was. That was my whole experience in school lah about sex ed, and I don't think, I think after that we just basically learned about it ourselves, because you all know how taboo that subject is here, especially.
Yeah, exactly.
So, I would, in essence, the things we've learned, like the Form 3 science, we've all had the same syllabus. I think that is more onto it's science. You learn about the reproductive system and all that. But I don't think that's it doesn't really cover sex education enough. Saya rasa itu is just macam your basic knowledge of how the human body works, because science kan. But to me, I think sex education is not just about how people reproduce, or the parts involved. Okay, what do guys have, what do girls have? But it's basically also about knowing whether what behavior is sexual, or understanding sexual health. Like STDs and all that. These are also part of sexual education. So sexual education is not about teaching people how babies are made, how people it's not how people not merge, but how they reproduce. But it's more than that. It's more than that, but merge. It's more on dari segi macam your development as a person, the way your relationship is with that person, what kind of relationship is it? It's also about your emotional self. So all these actually, I think that
aspect to it,
your emotional aspect,
start dari sekolah
your
kamu
mental.
sudah paham benda ni sangat mendalam kau. Wow.
No, now lah, like in school.
Okay,
schools,
now.
We're talking about now. Like now, people don't get, or I think people don't understand that they're thinking, okay, sexual education about sex. But no. It's itulah tuh, like I'm saying, it's really more than that, and I don't think people have the awareness of understanding why people should know about this, and especially why this is important in youth. There are parents yang dorang tidak agree bah that
Yep.
children shouldn't be exposed to this that young.
Yep.
They wouldn't be able to understand. But in my opinion, I think if it's during our time, I think it would be like, yeah lah, it's too young for people like us, young when we are sekolah rendah, sekolah menengah, to be exposed to these kinds of topic. But right now it's different because everyone has access to the internet lah, like WhatsApp, and then right now everything is learning from home kan, everything is at home. Teachers can WhatsApp is like the thing, and it's easier now for people to manipulate younger children. So I think that's right now the issue with sex education in school now, whereas back then it's like not so. Back then it would be understandable if we say that it's too young to have it, but right now I think that sex education is important because the risk and the opportunities for these kinds of situations to happen is even bigger now. I feel like selari topik sudah.
Ya, panjang betul loh Brian si Jo.
Saya macam
Because I feel like macam saya sangat stupid because I was just sharing about my apa yang saya punya knowledge masa saya sekolah dulu kan, and then Jo dia explain sangat panjang. Wow.
But mine is too all over the place. Yeah. All I know is sex ed
Semangat
is
Jo
not,
itu yang kita tahu
yeah,
kan.
sex ed is not about sex, but it's about everything else with
Involved.
involved. Yeah.
Kalau saya kan yang macam kamu juga lah, tapi saya tiada ceramah macam si Angel punya.
Angel, yeah.
Betul di sekolah dia. Because yang saya tahu pun dari sains ke form 3.
Yeah.
And we only learn about how babies kena buat macam yang kondom begitulah. Tapi macam yang sexual harassment or sexual apa bla bla bla. Macam saya rasa saya tidak ingat saya kena ajar pasal benda.
Tidak ada penekanan kan?
Tidak penekanan.
Yes, exactly.
Ya, kalau macam ada orang yang kena sexual harassment kan, dorang tidak tahu pasal benda ni. Dorang tidak tahu itu harass. Ya, yang itulah very limited lah.
So kita dengar tadi itu pengalaman except for Joel lah, panjang betul huraian dia. Dia siap merangkumi sekarang punya topik. So okay, for Joel, for Angel, me and Put, the three of us kita cakap pasal kita punya pengalaman masa kita kecil. Now, sekarang apa yang kamu rasa? Sebab kita pun ada nieces, ada nephew, ada kawan-kawan yang kita tahu di sekolah sekolah rendah kan ataupun sekolah menengah. Apa yang kamu rasa sangat besar dia punya perbezaan masa kita sekolah, Mbak?
Yang saya tahu sekarang dorang start dari younger age kan, around form 4. Tapi it's very basic yang macam kita juga. Tapi tidak macam kita dulu lah.
Pendedahan awal lah mostly.
Pendedahan awal dorang lebih banyak daripada yang kita dapat dulu.
Yes, okay. Exactly.
Damn, I don't know what's the syllabus now, so I hope the kids are learning early lah. I mean, it's a good thing, especially now, because all I know is if I look at my nieces and nephews, the things they watch on YouTube are sometimes very inappropriate and not controlled. You're like, I don't think you should be watching that. So, knowing
What kind of stuff?
They watch like adult stuff. I mean, even I saw them watching something before. It was Roblox, and in that whole scene, it's where the Roblox character go from childhood, growing up, and then meeting a girl, and then kissing, and then getting married, and then having babies. And I'm like, what?
So the whole process to dorang tengok lah. I mean, how
it showed them like or something, but they didn't show the thing lah. It's just implying that they did something and then they got a baby.
Ya, macam yang anak buah saya pun begitu. Dia selalu tengok yang yang video yang menyanyi yang ganas menyanyi punya barang, and then
like music videos.
Ya, music video, tapi yang kartun punya, yang orang main gitar tapi dia kartun lah, kartun karakter. Saya lupa sudah karakter. Oh, Happy 3
Oh,
katanya.
Happy Tree Friends.
Happy 3 friend, tapi
Wait,
orang
itu
God damn, that's very.
ya,
Saya
tapi
nggak tahu
orang
apa kamu.
guna karakter tu untuk buat yang music video menyanyi bah. And then sekali saya tengok kan, terus itu karakter dorang begitu, you know, yang tengah buat. I was like, what the hell are you watching? Saya bilang,
What?
terus saya tukar dia punya itu video, so saya report terus lah. So, dia macam, saya rasa itu orang yang bikin tu video kan, dia cakap, oh this content is for children. Kan kalau di YouTube boleh kasih pilih.
What? Yeah, you restrict from children, yeah.
Ya, itulah macam yang banyak orang yang jahat bah juga, yang kasih keluar benda-benda ini.
Don't know what's on YouTube.
Okay, bagi saya secara pribadi apa yang paling ketara, apa yang dorang silibus yang sekarang lah, which is sangat better compare kita dulu. Kalau kita dulu kan masa form 3 je yang kita belajar pasal reproductive system. Tapi sekarang yang one of my friend hari tu dia send lah gambar buku teks dia punya cousin punya anak, I'm not really sure. Buku teks tahun 4 if I'm not mistaken. So dalam tu dia bercakap mengenai apa perlakuan yang cikgu selalu buat, which is inappropriate lah, macam dorang bagi tahu apa yang tidak betul kalau cikgu buat ni terhadap kamu. So itu tidak betul actually. Dorang bagi tahu lah kalau cikgu ni buat macam ni dekat kamu ataupun someone dewasa buat ni dekat kamu, so itu tidak bagus. Which is bagi saya secara pribadi sangat bagus lah untuk budak-budak untuk tahu. Sebab ramai kes-kes sekarang ni macam orang-orang dewasa ambil kesempatan terhadap budak, and then the budak tidak tahu apa-apa. I mean, dorang just macam rasa cikgu ni baik dengan saya, but secara tersembunyi cikgu ni ada niat tertentu macam pegang-pegang budak ataupun yalah sentuh-sentuh konon macam anak angkat apa-apa semua macam tu. Terms anak angkat tu kan selalu orang pakai, but then ada maksud tersembunyi. So that's why saya rasa yang sangat ketara lah bagi saya. Of course yang macam kalau yang sudah tingkatan tu, of course itu dorang pun still ada juga sekarang, which is bagus lah sebab dorang kasih stay dia punya pembelajaran di sekolah. Tapi kan ada satu lagi yang membuatkan pembelajaran seks ni tidak berapa berkesan saya rasa untuk masyarakat Malaysia sekarang. Sebab penerimaan masyarakat saya rasa yang sebab macam yang kamu orang cakap, it's the terms yang kita selalu pakai, tabu punya issue dekat Malaysia, especially untuk older generation apa semua macam tu, ataupun orang pedalaman tidak berapa sebab saya dari pendalaman myself, so saya tahu macam mana reaction orang terhadap this topic bila orang kena ajar di sekolah. Sebab orang rasa dia macam kenapa budak-budak sudah kamu belajar yang begini, macam orang penerimaan orang terhadap topik tidak bagus sudah.
Terus orang kasih kait sama agama juga benda ni. So itu yang
macam mana yang kamu rasa dia kaitkan dengan agama?
Kenapa dia mau belajar ini benda macam haram begitu. Why do belajar?
Saya rasa orang misunderstood dia punya topik betul. Macam sebab orang tidak tahu sangat kan.
People think when we say sex ed, we're teaching them to do sex. It's not. It's if things happen, you know what to do to protect yourself. It's those kind of things, and you know what happens when these things happen to you, or what is inappropriate if people do that to you. Gosh, it is a taboo topic lah, definitely.
I ada ask like an older person lah, like a parent lah, because none of us are parents lah. So I wanted to hear a parent's perspective on what yang not online. I didn't want to read online because people can be very filled kan, they can be very semangat kalau menaip sudah on the internet. So I asked lah, what do you think about sexual education in school, especially in sekolah rendah? Because like you said, tahun 4, tahun 5, it's in their syllabus sudah like about all this kan. So I kasih tahu lah, but in their syllabus they only started with macam understanding physical lelaki, physical perempuan, beza dia. And then like simple thing like dicakapkan yang apa benda kalau cikgu ni buat tidak boleh, and mana satu yang kira what's appropriate and what's not. Jadi saya tanya lah, what do you think about this di tahap sekolah rendah? So the person said kan, actually dia rasa bukan, and this is an older person yang bukan it's like umur parents kita lah, older sikit. So I asked lah, what do you think? Because I wanted to know kan. So they said, saya rasa benda ni bukannya kami tidak tahu what sexual education is. Ada juga yang paham it's not just about lelaki dan perempuan and what they do on their own time. Kami faham juga that this is a way to teach children to be aware of the dangers of sexual predators and other sexual abuse and harassment. Tapi to them, they feel like for tahap sekolah rendah, it could be too soon but to expose because they are sekarang pun dalam proses like by tahun 3, 4, 5, some of them are sudah mau akil balik bahkan like some are fast, some are slow, but there so they are more curious. And then right now this could cause some children bila dorang sudah expose or find out that wujud lelaki dan perempuan boleh begini pula, begini pula, dorang akan sendiri curious and pergi sendiri cari because they have access to all this internet semua kan. So they feel like kalau dari segi sekolah rendah it's okay lah you teach the physical and all this, but like in terms of makin mendalam like the sexual grooming and all that, like what is sexual abuse semua, itu mungkin dari rumah boleh parents tell them, okay, kalau it's not good to text lelaki, perempuan, whoever, kalau orang bagi hadiah jangan terima, it's not good. Biar benda ni dari rumah dulu, and as they're older baru di sekolah ajar, because some of them when they expose it to their kids too soon kan, itulah tu they're like some of them mungkin tidak faham apa kita belajar ni, and some of them might be like some people budak-budak kau tahu lah sekarang kan like pandai cari sendiri about all these kinds of things. So itu dia punya opinion. So like I want to know what you guys think about it, about kita cap di sekolah rendah dulu. What do you think about having this syllabus
I
in
think
sekolah rendah?
when you said that, I think I agree. I think it should start from home first because it's more comfortable for the kids to hear it from the parents bah. And then if they want to go look up because they're curious, they're probably more they would probably restrict themselves because they're like, oh my god, I know about this from my parents, I don't want to look it up. But if it's from the school and your parents don't know, they'll be more curious because they would want to find out sendiri like, oh, what is this sex about? Yeah, and then they would go, they just go research up, and then their parents don't know about this, and then that's how they get exposed early. But yeah, I feel like it should be from the parents first, and parents should be comfortable to really educate their kids on this. It doesn't matter how early, but as long as it's from parents.
The problem is Asian parents don't really talk about this thing sama anak mereka.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Selalunya implement by macam Western punya parents, but Asian is very, I don't know. Kamu kena ajar gak di rumah? Kena kasih tahu
I mean, personal experience.
No.
My parents, dorang sangat di kawasan pedalaman. Apa kamu expect orang ke parents yang sangat tradisional punya ni? Apa kamu expect orang akan cakap? Even ajar saya untuk pasang pad pun, no, my mom tidak ajar.
Wow,
I
you
have to
learn
figure it myself. So see macam mana dorang not really comfortable with the topic. Now,
I think my only like exposure to all these sex and relationship thing is when we're watching movies and then there's a kissing scene.
True.
Like, look away your eyes, blah blah blah, and then you're like, why is that something that I need to cover my eyes for? And then get curious, and then.
But I think it goes back to like si Uni cakap lah. Like in Malaysia, I'm gonna talk about Malaysia lah. I'm not gonna talk about other Asian countries. We premarital sex is not a thing that is practiced here. Dari segi religion pun, we like doesn't matter your religion or not, it's not an open thing that people practice lah. Semua orang sini tahu like lepas kahwin, and then that's the first person you're with kan. So that's why we don't talk about these things bah, because by then kita tua sudah, like we're old enough to understand. So I think that's why it's awkward for parents to like, kenapa mau bagi tahu awal-awal? Jangan touch, you're not supposed to touch all that other people touch you, jangan kiss semua tu, because it's like, yalah, why do we want to tell them about things that we know they're not allowed to do? Begitu betul. I feel like it's that like macam saya pun, no one taught me, lelaki sama mungkin. Mana ada parents yang, hey, did you know that when you get at like when you akil balik, guys and girls, they only tell you like, okay, kamu like when you have your period, jaga-jaga diri sudah, boleh beranak sudah kalau gitu. Jadi janganlah sembarang. Ya, begitu-begitu saja, but it's like, okay. But now, I don't know lah, like, itu betul is shocking. I pun find it weird. I pun a little weird that kita that have to teach like young children kan. I mean, it's like I'm on the like I understand why it's important, but at the same time saya pun rasa macam I agree that it's harus dari rumah apa benda ni.
Yeah.
Yet,
Jo,
yet
tadi kamu tanya soalan regarding you were asking about apa pendapat kami orang regarding yang daripada sekolah rendah tadi. What was your question just now? Macam
oh sorry, I got lost. What do you think about the exposure of sexual education for sekolah rendah punya kids, and these are kids under 12? Do you think it's like okay or it's too young, or like what do you think? What is your opinion on?
You mean yang related untuk sekarang punya syllabus kah ataupun secara sex education
In
secara
general.
menyeluruh? In
Secara
general.
or based on the syllabus lah, because I haven't seen the syllabus.
Kalau secara menyeluruh, I don't think macam budak-budak yang sekolah rendah sesuai lah untuk yang belajar macam secara mendalam lah, macam mana perempuan dengan lelaki bersetubuh and everything. Tapi kalau kamu tanya pendapat saya mengenai syllabus yang orang ajar sekarang, yang macam dia bagi pendedahan, like I said just now, yang pendedahan mengenai kalau orang dewasa buat di dekat kamu itu tidak bagus. Kalau yang tu saya setuju. Bagi saya sangat bagus lah. Sebab ramai kamu tengok sekarang yang orang-orang yang sudah dewasa pun tak tahu kenapa dengan tes dorang suka budak. So dorang pegang-pegang, dorang bagi hadiah, pedofile kata ya. Yeah, this kind of people lain dia punya apa. So bagi saya, kalau kamu bagi cerita pasal ni, bagi pendedahan mengenai isu yang sekarang ni pada budak-budak, bagi saya itu okay. Tapi kalau secara macam kamu bagi tahu sudah macam mana seks, macam mana untuk letak kondom apa and everything, macam itu yang tidak sesuai lah untuk budak-budak sekolah. Yang tu kalau sudah tingkatan, bagi saya itu okay sudah.
Ya, saya pun rasa begitu. I think mungkin waktu our time it's okay, it's macam yang memang macam pelik lah, tapi kan sekarang kan generation sekarang ni semua pun di hujung jari, orang boleh dapat di internet. Jadi if let's say kau tengok kau punya anak buah umur 4 tahun 3 tahun pegang handphone sudah kan, jadi benda ni kalau orang nampak duluan, orang macam yang orang sudah expose duluan daripada sekolah mau kasih expose orang.
Yes, true.
Jadi kalau saya rasakan kalau macam di sekolah orang kasih ajar pasal sexual harassment, if someone touching you this it's not good, itu masih okay. Tapi kalau yang orang mau
itu
macam ini masuk ini gitu enggak lah.
Yeah.
Should not be in instructions on how to do it.
Yeah. Just
I don't think
tahu
they're giving instructions. I don't think. Tapi mungkin itu betul. Some kids are oblivious kan, dorang tak tahu. Oh, wujud pula benda begini. But itulah when they start seeing like, oh, what is this? Bagi kita it's pendedahan awal kan, introductory. Kita tidak mendalam. But itulah kids can be curious, over curious kan. Dorang sendiri research and dari sana they get lost. So basically
benda-benda ini orang mau search sekali, benda-benda yang lain matematik BM tidak.
We basically agree that there's nothing wrong with sexual education yang kena ajar di sekolah, because it's appropriate enough. Pendedahan dia pun tidak mendalam sangat. Like based on our conversation, it's basically orang yang sendiri pergi search lebih
Yes.
Yeah.
It's not because sekolah ajar dorang begini-begini, dorang balik rumah pergi cari begini-begini. No, because kita tengok like di set sekolah rendah punya, when you hear it, it's like yalah, it's just warning early signs of telling you macam mana mau tahu if this is okay or if this is not okay.
What to do. Some kids, saya rasa lack of sex education exposure menyebabkan macam budak-budak ni kan macam dorang tidak tahu apa mau buat. Dorang tahu ini benda macam I think this is
tidak bagus.
Really macam not the right thing, but I don't know what to do. Jadi dorang biar
Betul. And then
exactly.
lagi senang dorang boleh kena manipulate because they don't know if betul ke tidak. Tapi orang tu yang ganggu dorang macam okay bani, it's natural. Then dorang pun okay. Like they might.
Padahal sebenarnya benda tu tidak bagus kan. Okay, now kita berbalik pada kes lain tu. Which masa tu during the class, I think everyone tahu juga kan cikgu dia buat inappropriate comment lah during the class. And then all the students joking. So dari sana kita tahu sudah macam even cikgu yang ajar tu pun dorang tidak ambil berat mengenai macam pandang remeh regarding the topic.
Saya rasakan bagi kes Ain kan, saya rasa cikgu dia macam how to say salah sikit. Dia patut tahu yang dia sedang ajar Gen Z. Gen Z sedang dorang ni pandai dorang ni lebih rebellious dari millennial. Dorang lagi pandai kasih tahu apa opinion dorang. So that's why this thing viral. So dorang tahu what is good, what is wrong. Sekarang semua ada di internet. Tapi itulah yang
that shows how much people teens nowadays know more about sex and why rape jokes are wrong.
And then saya rasa budak-budak macam especially yang budak lelaki, dorang tidak very understand what is rape joke, rape culture begitu. Dorang rasa it's funny, but actually perempuan tidak comfortable cakap pasal benda tu.
I think dorang buat yang anggap dia begini kan, dorang still tidak rasa benda tu satu topik yang patut orang tekankan dalam sistem pendidikan. So that's why dorang macam like I said, pandang remeh lah. Itulah kalau saya.
I feel it is case ain ni kan, it's not about the teacher getting exposed is the thing, but I feel like this needed to happen sooner or later. That this is what's going on in the school. There are probably teachers who are talking like this to students. You don't know what they're doing behind the scenes. Maybe behind the scenes they're talking to the boys and saying this kind of stuff like, rape someone that is not a minor, and rape jokes is not okay. Now never will be okay. So it's those things makes people worry exactly like, who are these people teaching my kids, and what are the things that they are being said to. It's stuff like that. So when this Ain case happened, the way people attack her is just insane.
And I'm not sure about people yang lain yang attack dia, tapi dia ada bagi tahu regarding dia punya counselor kata yang bagi tahu dia sangat sensitive about the issue.
The counselor tried to let it slide. It's just a joke.
Benda-benda begini kita tak boleh. Benda-benda begini kita tak boleh kasih biar, especially dia counselor. And then dia patutnya tahu yang topik ni actually topik berat, and then joke-joke begitu yang tidak patut untuk dibiasakan dalam sekolah ataupun even dalam budaya kita. Tak semestinya sekolah, dalam budaya kita pun tidak sepatutnya cakap macam tu. Not exactly budaya kita Malaysia. Anyone pun tidak patut cakap begitu. Sebab memang it's not right to say. To other people ba.
And then yang the sad thing kan, kalau let's say itu dia kasih tahu counselor dia, and then counselor dia macam yang tidak approve dia punya feeling ataupun dia tidak kasih
affirm, acknowledge
dia punya
how she felt.
And then di mana dia mau pergi lagi, and then lepas viral, kawan dia pula yang kasih macam ugut begitu,
kecam dia kan,
kecam kau, saya rogol kau, and then dia orang report police said is lawak kasar. I think if police pun dorang tidak boleh rely on, who gonna
sebab kalau polis sudah cakap ni, ni lawak kasar, orang kemudian nanti akan ambil ini sebagai contoh. Tengok dia punya orang joke macam tu pun dia orang cakap tu sebagai lawak kasar. No, bukan. Orang akan biasakan benda ni. Kalau even authority pun sudah cakap begitu, kalau authority cakap begitu, orang-orang lain akan biasakan benda ni dalam masyarakat kita, which is akan buat makin berleluasa kes ni. So that's why untuk treat benda ni kita kena start daripada mula, which is kita kena stop benda tu. Kita kena bagi tahu benda tu it's not right to say apa semua begitu. Bukan kita cakap dia lawak bodoh apa semua begitu.
Actually cikgu importance is yang orang yang patut ajar these kids kan, yang it's not okay to say this. Sebab dorang yang mold ni budak jadi someone ba. But if let's say kau buat begini kan, I mean like, I don't know, it's so sad.
I think it's gini. When I was in school, sekolah menengah, my teachers made jokes like that juga ba. Kau pernah belajar mathematics kan? There's like they draw the Venn diagram yang two circles, they intersect. What is each circle tu? Sometimes there's like the ones that intersect. Some circles they don't intersect, so you get two circles kan? Terus dia pergi, and then it's like point A, point B. So dia ada dua titik lah dalam tu, dua circle, satu-satu. Terus dia ketawa, dia bilang, macam lain sudah. Terus orang ketawa ba, because it looks like that kan. So I think that mungkin itu dia mau bawa berlawak supaya orang tidak bosan di kelas. It's like their way of like keeping students, okay, pay attention, pay attention. This is a
That's
boring,
fine.
this subject susah. You think it's fine kan? But if you do that in this generation right now, it's not fine because you are drawing perempuan punya parts and you're making it like, wait, tengok on the blackboard gini, semua orang ketawa. So that's the problem, but it's mungkin like case Ain tu. Yalah, the teacher was like thinking, like you said lah, it's guy talk kan, ala lawak kasar saja ba. But betul-betul orang tidak realize ba, rape culture has been happening dari kecil, and because we have been exposed to that as lawak, when we grow up, kita lagi cikgu, jadi cikgu, we make this kind of jokes, assuming that ala
Orang
belum
normalize
faham,
dia punya
ya,
apa bagi.
ala orang faham ba, lawak saja ba, bukan juga
it's a
betul-betul,
joke.
bukan juga kami betul-betul akan buat, like the teacher saying, ala kalau mau rogol, lain kali rogol yang jangan underage begitu. So like he's saying it as if ala lawak saja ba, they would get it, but itu betul. People don't understand what is rape culture. People, that's why
I guess what
police pun macam ala it's just a joke. Why is everyone taking this too seriously? Orang faham ba it's a joke? Sampai at one point it becomes like ala itu pun kau mau sensitive. So I think that's the problem. Like you all said lah, rape culture has become such a thing that betul-betul orang betul-betul pandang remeh ala. Ini pun mau report police, but people don't get it. People are not. It's not about sexual education. It's about us letting things like this slide easily. Walaupun di sekolah, walaupun even counselor bah, like your job is to listen to your clients' feelings and then help them. Tapi itu counselor pun macam ala you
counselor lah.
yeah, like kau terus don't acknowledge that person's feeling, which like you said lah, macam mana orang tu merasa that everyone in the school system tidak support dia. Bila dia bawa kepada masyarakat, dia pula diugut, dikecam, and then random strangers online pun pergi ugut dia, even some yang bekerja ba.
Oh my god.
Yeah, if you read the comments, it's very harsh. This is why are you speaking like this to someone who is underage?
Yeah.
What would that do to her mentally, emotionally? How would that affect her? Tapi the whole country is like macam why is this an argument? Why should this be an argument yang ala dia buat lawak saja, ala dia bukan buat lawak saja. It shouldn't be an argument. It should just be known that okay, benda ni salah. There's no right, there's no wrong. There's no need to look at ala kita tengok perspektif dia. Mungkin guru tu berlawak saja. Ala kita tengok perspektif in general. Dia pelajar saja, dia belum faham. But no, this is the problem. Personally kan, like I think when I was young, sampai like mau dekat-dekat teen lah, young adult begitu. I think like I didn't realize rape culture was a thing, and that these types of jokes actually are inappropriate. So I know that's inappropriate if I were to say it to strangers or to like small kids or like to people in general kan. Yang itu saya tahu lah. But on a personal level kan, like from school and in high school, like we joke about things that are inappropriate bah. Like when they make jokes like that, saya pun ketawa. And then sometimes I add on like sama-sama build onto this joke yang bertambah benda. Orang bilang lawak kotor kan. So I didn't think that it was that inappropriate. Like between kawan, I was like, even though it's kawan lelaki perempuan, kawan like me and a guy friend or me and a girlfriend, kami berlawak-lawak begini, it's like fine bah. We joke about this. We joke about like yang penting lawak kotor. We joke about it and we think it's okay. But right now, when we're as I got older, I realized that actually it's not okay for girls to joke about things like this that casually with guys. Or it's not okay to be starting these kinds of conversation with guys. Like I don't know. Do you guys understand what I'm saying, Kani?
Yeah, but for me, I think personally, there's a difference between sex jokes and rape jokes. That's for me.
True. Yeah, I don't make rape jokes
that are okay and are actually funny. But you know, if you're joking with your friends, you know you have that comfort level of it's okay to joke about this. But if they start to make jokes about rape, then that would be I would totally call them out for it lah. Like that's not okay.
Saya mau tanya yang sex joke dengan rape joke, bolehkah kamu kasih rape joke saya tahu, tapi yang sex joke apa actually yang kamu maksudkan? I mean,
jokes that
how
the famous
That's what she said. That's like one of the
That's what she said.
yeah, like sex jokes. Like if you to say something like, "Oh, that thing is big," and then somebody said,
Wow,
"That's what she said." Yeah, that's a sex joke lah.
So it
That's
becomes, yeah, dia jadi benda yang macam ala remeh saja, lawak remeh. But imagine if this is the thing you grew up with. Like I grew up with around all these jokes kan.
yeah.
So now kan, when I make jokes like this, like steady saja. But then when I realize that it is first, like some people can't take these kinds of jokes. But that's when I realized, yeah kan,
Yeah.
not everyone is going to think jokes like this are acceptable, but
Yeah.
especially if you jumpa people who are very conservative,
Yep.
they won't laugh at it. They'll be
Yeah.
like, how can you joke about something like this?
Tapi saya rasa kalau sex jokes kan, kalau within your group of friends is okay.
Yeah, true.
Tapi kalau macam in big space yang you as
Yeah.
a teacher,
public audience
Yeah.
yang
and then you mungkin ada certain okay, tapi I think people have to know kasih beza macam mana ini okay
Yeah.
or not, yang macam
Yeah.
jokes is okay or not, yang mungkin orang perlu belajar kasih beza
Yeah.
lah, to make it dorang tidak tercakap.
I guess how it is, kan, I think people should be vocal. Like if they're uncomfortable with something, you should say to them, actually that's inappropriate, or actually I'm uncomfortable with that joke. Can you please like not do that again? If people
You need to
do
say
that,
it.
yeah, people would learn more. Like they would be educated. Like, okay, this is not an okay joke to make. You
Does
know.
anyone here know, like now we're talking about it, does who here actually knows what the actual definition of sexual harassment is? Like Angel said, it's like, it's making me uncomfortable. I don't like this joke. Please stop it. But we should start with, do you even know what sexual harassment is?
Saya rasa saya tahu sedikit lah. There is a fine line dengan sexual harassment and sexual assault.
I feel sexual harassment can be both physical and verbal. Yeah.
Memang.
It's like, inappropriately touching someone, that's also harass.
Yes.
And then, saying, like making rape jokes, inappropriate sex jokes is also sexual harassment.
That's why I say kan there is a fine line between
Yeah.
these terms, sebab ada certain tahap
True.
dia boleh
It's
jadi assault.
it's very easy for you to go from harassment, from that just quickly change into abuse or assault. Did you know?
That's
even
why it's scary to have sexual harassment in the beginning, like to make
But
jokes.
this is why this is under sexual education juga, Pak, actually. Like now we're going deeper and deeper. Kan all of this falls under sexual education.
Saya akan baca sedikit lah apa yang dikategorikan sebagai sexual harassment. Ini definition yang dibuat oleh kita punya government. Ini under Part X VA Employment Act 1955. Dia cakap sini, sexual harassment adalah unwanted conduct of sexual nature and may be committed verbal, non-verbal, visual, gestural, physical, psychological, directed at the person which is a threat to his well-being, feel humiliated, offended, or threatened. Ini yang apalah dorang punya definition untuk sexual harassment. Bila kita cakap pasal sexual harassment ni, so macam yang kita tahu, kita pun hari itu ada try untuk tanya survey lah, is it survey ataupun kita try untuk ni lah tanya pendapat orang lain, pengalaman dorang sama ada dorang pernah in this kind of situation, macam kena harass ataupun kena anything yang regarding dorang punya experience lah pasal the harassment apa semua ni. Now, kita ada dapat few feedback daripada kita punya views, and then anyone mau baca dorang punya komen dulu? Siapa mau baca dulu?
You like there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 submissions from anonymous people.
Actually, it's a lot, but I only dapat kasih
There's a lot.
make it short lah.
How do we even summarize this? Punya panjang. Okay, let me just choose one. Okay, anonymous one sent their story, and she said, ada satu cerita tapi jangan expose nama sekolah. It's an experience where someone that she knows, tidak mau mention who. So it's about cikgu and student relationship. dorang nih tapuk-tapuk, bercinta di sekolah. And then the teacher punya age is in his 20s lah, 20 lebih lah, but kedapatan lah by this kid punya parents, and then somehow the cikgu kena tangkap, and the girl kena transfer to nobody knows where, but basically transferred out of the school lah. And then, but they said it's not a one-sided love. They couldn't are in love with each other, but it felt wrong, obviously, because they did have intercourse. So that's kind of a yikes.
Oh God.
It's still
Kak, walaupun both suka sama suka kan, tapi kalau the girl, kalau budak tu still under 16 years old, they're still considered as a rape tau. So hati-hati ya. Yeah.
And
alright.
On top of that, let's assume, okay? Let's assume the girl is what, under Form 5? How old are you when you're Form 5?
17?
17? Around there lah. Let's say you're 17 and below lah. High school.
18.
Under 18 lah. As long as you're under 18, let's say lah, I don't know how old this student is. Let's say the student is 17. The highest lah, Form 5 student, 17.
Yeah.
And the teacher is 20. If you look at the age difference, or the teachers use it, ala, beza 3 tahun saja.
Yeah.
My parents pun beza 10 tahun kawin. My parents 2 tahun. My parents are 5 years. The student would see it as, ala, 3 tahun tua saja. What's wrong with that? Parents kita semua pun ada yang jarak dia jauh betul. But what people don't understand, so they don't see it as pedophilia. They see it as it's just age gap yang tidak jauh sangat. But what people don't understand, and why we do not condone, or it's not allowed for people to be dating anyone under the age of 18. Is it 18 in Malaysia?
Yes.
Is that they, in terms of maturity, like their brain in terms of maturity is not fully developed. You're still under 18. You can still be manipulated by people older than you. So that, I think teachers don't see it as pedophilia because dia nampak, ala, kami beza 3-4 tahun saja. There's nothing wrong. Dia cukup matang ba untuk faham. Dia pun, that student pun akan cakap, saya faham ba, I'm old enough to date ba. But they don't understand that anyone above 18 can manipulate you ba. This is the thing here that I think people are not really fully aware of. We are not talking about, ala, dia budak masih. Ala, dia remaja. Ala, dia mau habis Form 5 sudah ba SPM. Bukan juga budak sudah tu. No, the problem is not about dorang ni budak kah, bukan budak kah, dorang nampak matang kah, tidak. But it's because they have not fully developed dari segi in the brain lah. I don't remember what, but dari segi development belum complete. That is why we do not allow for adults or anyone above that age to be dating someone under the age of 18 is what I want to point out. Case yang when cases begini di macam dipandang and then like just forgotten over. This is one of the main thing that people miss.
Yeah.
Alright. Yeah, Joe cover quite banyak sudah pasal the case. Yeah. So I'm gonna proceed with the case nombor 2. So dia cakap di sini, my brother, which masa tu masih Form 1 and 2, kena pilih sebagai one of these cikgu lelaki. Ini dia cikgu lelaki di sekolah dia sebagai pengawas buku teks with 2 other student lelaki lah. Adik saya mula-mula excited, but lama-lama dengar cerita dia, macam cikgu dorang tu selalu kontrol pergerakan dorang and selalu jealous kalau dorang budak-budak ni rapat dengan cikgu-cikgu lain atau individu-individu lain. Cikgu ni suruh dorang tidur di bilik buku teks. Masa kelas malam, cikgu tu suruh dorang stay di bilik buku teks dan sometimes suruh dorang tidur di rumah dia. Even masa weekend yang budak-budak boleh balik, cikgu tu suruh dorang stay untuk kasih teman dia di rumah. Suruh diorang urut-urut dia ataupun cikgu tu urut dorang. Then dia belikan hadiah bel, minyak wangi atau bawa dorang pergi tengok wayang di bandar begitu. Dan cakap adik saya juga bagi tahu yang dia not comfortable around the cikgu or how the cikgu layan dorang. But at first we take it as my adik yang memang tak suka orang balik-balik baik-baik sama dia. But after a while, ada satu makcik ni share pasal anak lelaki dia. Senior lah dari adik saya masa tu. This guy pernah kena pegang-pegang with the same cikgu. Pegang sampai yang private part dia cakap sini ya. Dia bilang, dan start daripada tu, me and my mom feeling uncomfortable bila ingat cerita adik saya. Then one time, saya pergi jamin adik saya untuk balik dari asrama, and kebetulan this warden, dorang kenal saya. Saya cerita apa yang jadi sama adik saya, then this warden bilang dia notice benda ni jadi. Cikgu tu pun dah pernah kena komplain pada pengetua dulu, but still dia buat begitu juga. So after dengar cerita yang cikgu ni still dengan perangai lama, I convince my parents untuk kasih biar adik saya pindah sekolah sebab saya tengok adik saya betul-betul frustrated. Sampai sekolah baru, kebetulan ada juga kawan, also kawan kepada cikgu yang gatal ni di sekolah sana. So dia macam ugut adik saya. But luckily tiada anything teruk happen between them because adik saya try hard untuk mengelak dari kawan cikgu ni. So saya rasa yang ni berbalik mengenai, kamu ingat ke tu yang saya cakap pasal sekolah rendah punya silibus di mana orang dewasa ataupun cikgu try untuk pegang-pegang budak apa semua begitu. Ya. Case ni exactly apa yang orang terangkan dalam buku teks yang silibus tahun 4 tu. Which is kalau dorang sudah awal-awal kena bagi pendedahan begitu, dorang akan tahu bah. Tapi sekarang ni saya rasa I think ini yang kisah dulu. So dia dorang tidak berapa terdedah lagi dengan this issue.
Dorang tidak tahu it's not okay to do that gitu.
Yeah. So dorang kasih diam saja begitu.
But
kesiankan this kind of mangsa apa-apa semua.
Tapi the problem is why is it school tidak buang tu cikgu? Even dorang
Saya pun heran why is
they receive
why ada
That's the thing. That's the thing sebab sudah kena komplain kan. Even pengetua pun tahu, even warden dorang pun
orang
tahu.
kerja ni
complain and then the pengetua said pernah dengar cerita, pernah juga ada orang lain komplain. So it's like it's a known thing. Yeah, I'm confused as to why the school or no one is taking
action kan pada cikgu. I think dia sama juga macam case Ain ni. Dia try untuk bagi tahu the counselor tu dia mau bagi tahu dia yang sensitif. Alright, try to back up the cikgu punya action, try to untuk kasih kasih betul tu cikgu punya ni. Macam tu I think it's the same problem with this kid lah bagi saya. Sampai dia yang mangsakan, dia yang terpaksa lari daripada di sekolah, which is sepatutnya cikgu tu yang kena kena ni lah, orang ambil tindakan terhadap dia.
Okay, so we've covered story 1 and 2. And I'm just gonna point out that baru 2 story kan, and it's already two different things. The first one was about the pedophilia one, and the second one was already coming back to why we should expose ni semua kan. So I wonder what's gonna happen in this next one. I'm so worried. Alright, so anonymous story number 3. Okay, cakap pasal sexual harassment ni kan. Apa yang jadi sama saya ni is verbal lah, bukan part sentuh-sentuh ke apa, which bikin geli for me. Tapi seheran, why is it become a norm in a workplace? Perlukah lawak luca untuk jadi friendly? Between friends, okay lah, but someone yang consider strangers, umur pun jauh beza, lain gender lagi, memang sangat bikin tidak selesa. I don't feel comfortable cakap benda luca sama lelaki lain or walaupun kawan. Kadang-kadang saya pandai takut tahu pergi kerja. Ini one of the reasons kenapa saya mau lari dari tempat kerja saya tu, because they make it like it is a norm in a workplace pa. Pernah satu kali tu, saya makan nasi ayam. Lepas tu that guy ask me, makan nasi ayam sejak kah? Jadi saya cakap lah, ya, tiada duit bukan macam kamu. Setiap hari pun bos yang bayar, cubalah belanja kami. Then saya cakap, tidak ba, main-main saja. Lepas tu, mau tahu apa dia balas saya? Kena balas begini. Dia cakap, jangan kau main-main, nanti malam saya main kau balik. So time dia cakap ni, saya slow, sudah suara, terus dia mau keluar dari pintu office and mungkin dia fikir saya tak dengar kali. Banyak pervert di tempat kerja saya. Bayangkan mau pas bagi kerja pun sampai mau pegang tangan saya. Fuck, dia bilang. Limpas sebelah saya pun mau dekat-dekat di hidung saya konon. Geli bodoh. So di office tu memang saya diam-diam saja, memang saya jadi orang yang cold, saya okay pun dengan yang perempuan sajalah. So saya kasih tahu lah orang atasan saya, tapi tiada guna juga sebab diorang cakap main-main saja batu. Even HR saya yang perempuan dengar and nampak apa yang berlaku pun dia tidak ambil tindakan and dia ketawa sejak kami kena cakap begitu.
Oh, ini sudah sexual harassment di tempat kerja ni.
That's a sexual harassment.
Yeah.
Very obvious.
And saya marah sebab ada HR tapi macam tiada HR.
Yeah.
The
Yep.
HR
Yes.
they complain sama dia punya majikan, I assume boss dia, and then dorang pun macam alah lawak saja.
Yeah.
It's the same thing like the Ain
Yeah.
case, but ini at the workplace
Yeah.
between adults. Kalau
Yeah,
case
adults.
kalau case yang student and teacher, dorang bilang alah dia student saja. Siapa mau dengar suara pelajar. Ini is between two adults. Pak.
Adults.
Pun orang tidak mau dengar.
Alright, next.
Emosi saya bila dengar cerita ni.
Kan? Okay, so next anonymous story number 4. Waktu saya form 5, ada 2 budak lelaki ni. Saya bagi nama dorang si Budu E and si Budu B. Si Budu E ni saya masih boleh terima lagi lah sebab dia main-main cakap saja. Tapi si Budu B ni dia sedikit lagi terpegang saya punya nenen, dia bilang. Buat dukang betul. Saya tolak tangan dia macam kungfu, okay? Nasib saya tidak pegang kayu tentu. Kalau tidak, saya memang kepala dia. Lepas kejadian tu, saya diam-diam sajalah. But then, tidak lama tu, kau tahu, tu budak ada dia couple sama budak form 1 time tu. Tu budak is Christian. Jadi dia pergi cerita sama saya lah. Dia kasih masuk jari dia, pergi itu perempuan punya vajai-jai. Jadi lepas tu dia cakap bau. Dia bilang sampai sekarang masih ada tu bau. Terus dia cakap sama saya, kamu Kristen tidak kena sunat kan? Mungkin pasal tu bau. Terus dia pergi kasih hidu jari dia sama saya. Geli saya. Saya pukul tangan dia, bah. Sebab topik ni still jadi mainan dorang. Pernah satu kali saya umban dia sama botol sebab dia pergi uluk kawan perempuan saya pasal Kristen tidak sunat tu. Terus saya cakap sama dia, kalau saya buat begitu sama kamu yang Islam, apa kau rasa? Saya pergi teriak dia di dalam kelas sambil saya umban itu botol. Terus terdiam dia di sana. Lepas tu dia pergi tidur. Memanglah bodoh. Nasib saya tidak umban dia sama bangku. And after that dia balik-balik minta maaf juga lah. Tapi saya tidak mau kisah sebab saya marah betul. Hahaha. What the fuck?
Oh
The
my
hell?
gosh, that one was
This
disgusting.
goes back again why budak-budak kena tahu it's not okay for guys to.
Yeah.
Tapi ini it sounds like the girl willingly, like I mean the form 1 girl.
Yeah,
Dia-
it is actually dalam dari cerita ni yang saya faham, itu budak lelaki dia couple sama satu orang, and then dia cerita sama kawan kawan dia lah yang another girl yang kasih tahu
True.
cerita ni, and then dia tidak comfortable terima cerita yang begitu and lagi-lagi mention pasal agama. That's
True.
Tapi
Tapi inilah ni.
why
Kids-
do you have to
Dia
make
couple
a-
sama budak form 1. So,
Yeah.
and then budak form 1 baru fresh kan masuk high school, and then tiba-tiba you get a guy who's
Form 5.
older guy, I guess form 5
Five.
Yeah, dia 5.
Terus dia kena ajak benda-benda begini.
Oh my gosh. Oh, I'm
Dia kena
disgusted.
ajak willingly. Dia fikir it's because they're in love that it's okay. I
Yeah.
think.
Yeah.
I don't know the story. I can only assume that they think it's okay for them to be doing this. Tapi itulah tuh, this is why people need to know what is inappropriate touching, and like even though we're not supposed to teach children about physical interactions kan, this falls under that ba.
And I hate it because let's say lah, okay, it's dorang punya masalah lah untuk buat benda begitu kan. Tapi the guy go talk about this to other people ba, and then make a joke about it. It's I don't
Ya
think
itu pun salah.
acceptable lah benda begitu.
And he thinks it's funny lagi yang sampai sekarang konon dia bilang bau, and then dia kasih hidup kawan-kawan dia. Like what the hell?
I know. Man, I would have.
It's
What do you have
funny. It's not a joke.
So Uni is going to tell us the next anonymous confession.
Okay. So this anonymous number, okay. Dia ada few story, but I only kasih cerita yang the paling
First one.
sandi punya lah, yang paling sandi punya. Okay. Dulu waktu saya kerja di satu NGO, banyak kami receive case sexual abuse. Paling latest punya case is tahun lalu, which is 2020. Ada budak ni kena rogol oleh bapak tiri dia. Mamak dia selalu tiada di rumah. Dia selalu outstation pergi daerah lain untuk berjual. So ni budak tinggal berdua dengan bapa tiri dia tu lah. Bapa tiri dia ni, rogol dia dari umur dia 11 tahun sampailah last year, which is dia sudah 14. Benda ni pun stop sebab tu budak besar sudah and sedar benda ni tidak betul. Sebab ni budak dia confused, dia tidak tahu apa yang kena bikin sama dia. Bapa tiri dia ni pula dia confirm budak ni. Dia tidak benarkan dia pergi bergaul sama orang lain sebab dia tidak mau yang apa yang dia buat sama itu budak expose lah sama orang lain. And then lama ni budak simpan ni cerita, baru last year dia buka mulut. Dia berani bagi tahu pun sebab waktu tu kami pergi buat program di sekolah dorang pasal sex education. Kami ajar dorang pasal apa tu alat sulit, apa tu sexual harassment, sexual abuse, etc. Waktu program tu kami bagi contoh lah apa tu sexual harassment, sexual assault, sexual abuse. And kami tanyalah budak-budak ni, siapa pernah kena pegang private part dorang oleh orang lain? And start dari sana, dia macam tertrigger sudah untuk cerita pasal benda ni, untuk cerita pasal apa yang terjadi sama dia lah. Nggak lama tu, I think lepas last year kan MCO, so ada bapa tiri ni buat something sama dia, sampai dia pun tidak tahan, dia lari dari rumah. Bapa tiri dia ni cari dia di merata-rata tempat tapi tidak jumpa. Di rumah kawan, di sekolah pun tidak jumpa. Nasib ni budak pergi bertapuk di rumah kawan dia yang dia percaya. Lepas 3 hari baru dia berani mau kontak teacher dia and bagi tahu yang dia selamat, dia ada di rumah kawan dia. After that dia pergi mungkin the day after, lepas dia jumpa dengan teacher dia, barulah dia kasih tahu apa sebenarnya yang terjadi, kenapa dia lari dari rumah. Lepas tu yang fucked up tu, kan dia lari dari rumah 3 hari. Terus mama dia ni percaya bulat-bulat apa yang bapak tiri dia cakap. Bapak tiri dia ni kira macam memfitnah dia lah. Dia cakap ini budak pergi lari sama boyfriend dia, bla bla bla. Mama dia ni pun marah kunun. Dia marah kenapa anak dia buat hal begitu, kenapa lari dari rumah sama lelaki lain. Lepas tu dah lama beberapa tu mama dia sendiri terbaca chat bapak tiri dia tu sama tu budak. Dia terbaca yang ini bapak tiri dia send benda-benda lucu sama tu budak. Contoh, dia rindulah, dia mau 1 kali round lagi lah. Banyaklah dia lah. Lepas tu mama dia ni pergi kontak cikgu dia tu. And cikgu dia pun bagi tahulah apa yang telah berlaku, kenapa itu budak lari dari rumah, and semualah. And mama tu budak sedih sampai nangis-nangis, tapi dia buat macam tidak apa-apa yang berlaku pula. Dia tidak pun pergi konfront bapak tiri dia tu. Sebab dia takut, mama dia ni kan actually dia ni orang Filipin. Dia ada pasport tapi anak dia tu tidak ada dokumen. Tapi pasport dia kena jamin oleh bapak tiri dia tu, which is warga negara. So dia takut mau report polis. Tu budak sampai sekarang 2021 masih stay sama cikgu dia. Bapak tiri dia tu masih begitu, mama dia masih buat tidak tahu. Dia sedih tapi dia lagi pentingkan dia punya diri lah, keselamatan diri dia. Yang bagusnya tu cikgu memang ambil dia sebagai anak angkat sudahlah, tapi kesian dia tiada justice untuk ni budak lah. Sebenarnya boleh je buat report apa semua, tapi mama dia tidak mau buat report, tidak mau ambil tindakan. Kami boleh je tolong, tapi keputusan tu semua di tangan mama dia. Since dia pilih dia punya survival daripada protect anak dia, so case ni gantung gitu je. So sad.
God.
Sangat sedih.
Yeah.
I was so mad at the mom.
Story complicated lah.
Yeah.
Memang perlu cari justice untuk this budak, tapi at the same time susah juga mama dia apa-apa semua begitu, which is
dia takut
kalau kamu dalam this kind of situation apa kamu buat? To be honest, saya tidak.
Why the F is okay? The mom yang undocumented, like tidak IC. Kenapa dia yang pergi kerja and support the family? What is the dad doing? Dia boleh sampai like.
I think the dad
mungkin dia punya dad kerja yang apalah, kerja yang local punya, tidak pergi travel macam dia punya mom.
Yeah, but still,
like,
gosh.
So mama dia ni ada pasport tapi dia kena jamin oleh bapak tiri dia.
Yeah,
dia ni yang tidak ada dokumen. Oh, FYI, ini yang anonymous kasih tahu, yang kenapa nih budak pergi sekolah walaupun ada tiada dokumen. Ini sekolah yang swasta punya, yang cikgu yang tadi dia pergi lari itu is orang kaya dari Filipina. Dia pergi sini and then buat satu sekolah untuk budak-budak yang tidak dokumen nih, supaya dorang belajar lah, tahu lah apa ABCD kan. Dia buat sekolah special untuk itu budak-budak yang begitulah.
Gosh, bless her.
It's very complicated. Let's talk about the documentation one first. Memang banyak student, even in sekolah kerajaan biasa, you have yang some of them tidak IC, but I don't know how they got into school. Itu saya tak tahu. But they don't have IC, and then bila tanya kenapa, dia bilang, oh bapak saya ada, tapi mama saya tidak, tapi dorang tidak pergi urus. Why? Anak kamu betul, like can. This is the thing. I think it's just sangat complicated lah case dia. Tapi I was so mad at the mom.
Memang Filipin. I think dia before dia kawin sama laki dia tuh, yang laki warga negara tuh, dia ada anak lain sama Nadegai lah begitu. Itulah begini kan. Jadi dia
ya sorry, anak tiri. So
I mean, tiada NGO yang boleh tolong kah?
That's why lah dorang mau tolong, but
Because
the apa keputusan tuh di tangan mama tuh budak, sebab dorang cannot do anything selagi mama tuh buka mulut.
It's like itulah, it's like that rape case in Malaysia.
Yeah, it's a dead end.
Yang the teacher was having a relationship with a student. Tapi bila when they go and proceed with the police case and everything, they end up jadi no further action because the student punya side, her parents tidak mau take further actions. So they macam the guy in a way goes around free lah, sebab no one is charging him, no party, no one is like saying, oh this guy, so beginilah nih, like even though the kid, kesian, there's no justice for the kid.
Yang sedih dia lagi, dia dari umur 11,
11.
Saya feel macam sangat sad untuk ni budak, tapi saya sangat marah juga with the whole situation.
What the hell? I'm mad at the mom. First when I heard the story, I was like so mad. Kenapa mama dia tak percaya? And then when you said sebab IC semua, like that kan, then it macam
it's quite complicated lah.
Complicated. Saya mau marah, and the same time saya faham juga dia nak mau get into troubles dari segi undang-undang, but at the same time I'm mad that this has allowed something like that to happen to the kid. Pasal ni
kan is fuck. Tapi
tu.
Bless the teacher.
Inilah kepentingan sex education dekat sekolah. Bila ada banyak pendedahan mengenai sex education kan, dalam masa yang orang bagi tahu sex education ni, akan ada satu poin tu yang orang akan menyentuh mengenai the sexual harassment, apa tindakan yang patut kamu buat and everything begitu. So ini adalah one of dia punya kepentingan. So bila orang sudah tahu, sudah ada pendedahan mengenai this issue, orang akan berani bersuara, orang akan berani untuk menegakkan ni apa yang dorang rasa betul begitu. Dan then bagi tahu dengan pihak-pihak yang ni lah, pihak-pihak berkuasa lah, siapa yang patut orang bagi tahu lah begitu. That's the thing, bukan setakat daripada victim tu sendiri yang patut berani untuk bersuara. Daripada pihak yang terlibat macam authority apa semua begitu, dorang pun kena tahu juga benda yang betul atau salah ni di sini. Like macam yang kita cakap tadi, they shouldn't take it as a joke apa semua begitu. Instead, dorang kena tahu yang benda ni betul-betul tidak bagus ba. It's not right thing to do, begitu ba.
Nasib tu cikgu like pandang like knows that knows that this that he needs, or whoever the teacher needs to provide a place for that student.
Bayangkan ba, itu cikgu pun tidak mau kisah pasal tu budak. Dan tu budak mau pergi mana?
Exactly.
Yeah.
At the beginning, the NGO did the sexual harassment talk.
Yeah.
That's where the point that she spoke up. Imagine
Can
if
get to trigger something, and then
imagine if Tera
like,
she would have probably been stuck there.
I'm so glad that she can trust the teacher enough sampai mama dia pun dah tahu bah dia di mana. After a few days, baru tu cikgu, kau dengar dan from the story,
Yeah.
baru tu cikgu pergi kasih tahu, oh your kid is fine, gini.
Kan?
I know.
This is
Gosh.
Okay, kita sudah bincang mengenai sex education. Kita juga menyentuh sedikit mengenai sexual harassment. Kita juga dengar few cerita apa experience yang orang rasa lah, sama ada di sekolah rendah, sama ada berlaku pada budak perempuan atau budak lelaki. Di sekolah menengah pun kita ada dengar, di workplace pun kita ada dengar, and now yang ni berlaku antara family members pun kita ada dengar. Now, apa yang saya dapat rumuskan daripada apa yang kita bincangkan sebentar tadi adalah awalnya macam mana sex education ni sangat penting. Pendedahan kita start daripada budak-budak, apa yang patut atau tak patut orang dewasa buat terhadap kamu. And then sebab bila kamu sudah ada pendedahan macam ni, kamu akan berani bersuara untuk diri kamu sendiri. And then kamu come forward untuk bagi tahu apa yang terjadi pada kamu, apa yang orang sepatutnya tidak buat tapi orang buat kat kamu. So kamu ada rasa macam, okay, saya tahu ini tidak bagus, so I need to report it. Macam tu, Pak. So kamu tahu apa medium-medium yang cara-cara untuk lapor lah kalau benda-benda ni jadi kat kamu. Kalau authority tidak dengar, contohnya kalau pihak polis ataupun kaunselor cakap benda ni macam it's joke, kalau orang cakap macam tu, go for NGOs. Saya rasa banyak betul NGOs yang try untuk kasih tegakkan keadilan lah bagi this kind of victim. Tidak semestinya perempuan, tapi ada lagi victim-victim lain yang dorang mau dengar, dorang mau tolong begitu.
I know things like this exist, but because this is people that are from here, from Malaysia, submitting it to us, that it hits different macam it's so close.
Yeah,
Like you only see this in like kalau it's like you always assume it's always in like country orang putih or in movies, and then you know that it exists juga here. Tapi it's never public, like it's not always publicly made known kita ada isu begini. That it's I like masih in shock that it's
only
so common.
By 5 story yang kita cerita pun nampak sudah yang cover everything.
Yeah. We're not even reading all the stories that were submitted. Cukup sudah to cover.
Like, yang before kita buat this topic, we don't really know apa actually happen sama orang di luar sana pasal
Yeah.
blah blah.
I mean, we don't know how
Our knowledge is
True.
stuck in Western country.
My knowledge is just stuck on in general ada case begini. In general ada case. But you know what I realized when we're discussing all this is that at first it was just gonna be about what do you think about sex education in school?
Yeah, exactly.
Should we have it? Should we not have it? But what I realized and has become an eye-opening thing for me is that it's not because I accept or don't accept sex education in school, but it's because I don't know what they are teaching. Dari segi syllabus, how much are they teaching in sex education until we kasih tahu syllabus. Actually, in sekolah rendah, they just tell you about the different way the way someone approaches you, perlakuan seseorang tu kira appropriate ke tidak, bahaya ke tidak. And I think the problem is not about whether we should have sex education in school or not. I think parents, adults, before you decide, before you start saying, na bagus ada ni benda di take the time, look at your kids' syllabus, look at their books and see what exactly is being taught in school supaya kamu tahu, supaya kamu understand, how do I say that? Like anyone is picking up what I'm saying? What I'm saying is that it's not about, it's not about kenapa mau ajar budak-budak benda-benda ni? But I think it's just because parents did not expose themselves, ambil the time to pergi tengok syllabus budak-budak tu. Apa sebenarnya? Apa sebenarnya diorang ajar?
Diorang tidak faham itu actually apa yang diorang ajar. So that's why diorang just assume. Ini yang masalah kita. Kita just assuming yang diorang ajar begini je. But no, it's more than that. It's not just about sex apa semua begitu. It's more banyak lagi orang
sexual harassment education instead.
Yeah.
And
not
then
because when you say sex, they think it's an instruction.
Yeah, it's not.
Even yang inappropriate touching.
Apa?
Yang inappropriate touching semua tu si bicara budak ni the stories was saying that this happened in sekolah menengah. So that means they only start exposing people about the information on inappropriate touching di sekolah menengah. That means kan the sex education that we're implementing in school sekarang memang masih on surface level bah.
Yeah.
Still benda-benda yang
Yeah.
tidak serius sangat. Tidak dia juga bilang pasal merogol, pasal pergi touch. It's just basic surface level of what is okay, what is inappropriate, and what is appropriate.
I think kan school and parents main peranan yang besar lah in especially sex education. Kalau let's say school ajar yang benda itulah macam Jo cakap kan, parents have to tengok buku this kid lah, tengok apa yang kena ajar. So lepas orang kena ajar di sekolah, di rumah orang kena kasih macam into depth lagi lah tu benda, macam yang kasih tahu okay, apa yang actually yang sepatutnya kamu yang sebab dorang parents kan, so obviously itu budak akan trust apa yang dorang cakap lah.
Yeah, it's easier. Lagipun like you said, okay, how come parents can accept the YouTube for kids without even checking it out? And yet somehow you guys said your nieces and nephews masih can stumble upon content video yang tidak kid friendly. So how is it? Itulah tu.
Like, you guys tahu kan yang ada YouTube for kids.
Yeah.
But then
YouTube for
masih
kids,
lagi leak pergi sana.
Itulah tu.
Yeah, you don't know. Yeah, there might be. I
So
heard
if you
cases.
if you can blindly accept YouTube for kids and then you don't supervise what your kids are watching, how is this should be treated the same way before you judge sex ed in school, whether you should diadakan atau tidak for budak-budak. Go and look for yourself, see what is really being covered in those topics, baru start to think, okay, do you think this is something I want my kids to know or not? If you haven't looked at the syllabus, jangan dulu decide then and then mau terima ke tidak sex ed di sekolah.
Exactly. Yeah, that's true. Do your own research first. Understand what is being taught before you directly cancel it and say, I don't want my kids exposed to that. The eye-opening thing for me is that what these kids needs is a safe space to talk about this.
Yes,
it can be, but it should be both in school and at home, because we don't know what's happening at home. They could have bapa tiri, like one of the stories, so they might not feel it's a safe space to talk about it, so they can talk about it in school. So that's why for this sex ed, I feel like it's good for counselors to talk about it. So and then make it a point and say to them that if you have any issues about this, you can come to my office and talk to me about it. Not macam the counselor in the Iron case trying to hide it in
stupid.
So sex ed helps them realize that it helps them know that, okay, what my parents are doing, like you said about it, what my parents are doing to me is wrong. I can talk to someone about it. I can talk to a teacher, or they can go like, okay, what my teacher is doing is wrong. I know it's wrong. I can talk to my parents about it. So in a way, awareness about sexual education has brought these people to confront these issues, because dorang sudah tahu they know that memang betul this is wrong. They can talk about it. Exactly. And we also talked about the joking, right? So like we said, when we're sexual, talking about sex and all is taboo, right? It's taboo. People don't want to talk about it. So if sharing information about sexual education is taboo, why is making these jokes not taboo? So if you want to make it a taboo, make it for all.
Yes. For me, kalau sex education, kalau betul-betul lah taboo kan, make it, kasih implement it macam sesuai dengan kerajaan Malaysia, okay? Kasih alter dia, tidak macam di luar negara. Alter dia ikut kesesuaian mungkin kita punya agama, kita punya culture. Doesn't have to ajar orang how to do, what to wear, begitu.
Yeah, don't give out condoms like the Western.
I think it's mungkin we haven't seen the textbook, but we've only seen a glimpse kan. Mungkin actually that from the glimpse one, it looks appropriate enough dari segi kematangan budak-budak tu, and the syllabus how it's designed memang child friendly appropriate. Memang it's a level where it's okay, it's understandable for kids, and it's just macam how to avoid early signs of benda-benda tu being something inappropriate. So I think as parents, you don't look up sexual education online, because it's gonna tell you things like, dia cakap pasal safe sex. It's gonna talk about sexual diseases, all that. in general, that is sexual education. But I want you guys to like go and look at your kids punya textbook, punya exercise book. Then you'll know di sekolah anak kamu in Malaysia, in their school, apa sebenarnya topik-topik yang diajar in school. Don't go look at the general internet one. Go look at the syllabus one because it's already designed for the school. Check out all the information there and then think for yourself.
Yeah.
Patutkah tidak? Do I want my kids to learn this or not?
Yeah. And it's not bukan parents saja yang perlu tahu benda sex education is what. Even kita adult pun yang
Mbak, HR.
not a parent
HR.
should know about it. Kan?
Yeah. Parents, teachers, HR
Yeah.
should know about this.
And then sekarang banyak
Kita tahu.
banyak orang talk about this sudah Pak. Jadi kamu boleh look up to those lah.
Yeah.
Yang adult lah, bukan the parents lah. Macam banyak podcast kan ada barang-barang begini. Siapa tuh
Yes.
yang satu that
Or your,
Jasmine.
Jasmine Raja, Jasmine King, or you can check out her IG. It's just Jess Explains at J. You're gonna type it on the screen. So yeah, she talks about sex, and it's a comfort space for people who want to talk about sex. So she's basically giving sex ed, what's right to say, what's not good to say, all those. She covers all those. She also has a podcast. So yeah, if you guys want to know more about things or you need a safe space, I guess you guys can go to her IG or something. Yeah.
Kan?
And let's wrap up. V, any closing speech?
Hari ini banyak betul yang saya belajarkan sampai yang saya rasa saya sangat kerdil. Pengetahuan saya dulu kan yang sangat kerdil nih. So, saya tidak tahu sudah apa mau rumuskan. Macam semua pun sudah kita cover.
Semua cover kan? But
Semua kita cover. So, anyone ada mau cakap apa-apa? To be honest,
do yourself a favor. Please raise your own awareness about sexual education. Then you'll understand then you'll know how far is something considered sexual harassment. What is what actions defines as what action falls under assault, abuse, harassment. What levels there is like, even if you're saying Allah, like we said, like just commenting, go what basically just go and raise your own awareness about this issue before you start making your own judgment.
Yes. Correct.
If you understand this, then you'll be able to talk about this more openly and understand why this is an issue.
Yes, and be open-minded about it. Do not be too close-minded, especially when it comes to this topic.
Okay, sebelum kita tutup kita punya topik, this time saya ada satu lah nasihat for the victim yang pernah kena assault ke, kena apa-apa ke. So just mau bagi tahu lah, encourage kamu untuk come forward, bagi tahu kamu punya case, melapor kepada authority. Even satu tidak dengar kamu, I'm sure ada satu lagi pihak yang akan dengar kamu. So jangan rasa macam sampai assault tu bikin kamu rasa sangat kerdil di dunia, sebab itu tidak bagus juga untuk kamu. So itu je lah yang advice saya untuk all the victim yang kena ni.
And if you're not sure if you're a victim or not, or if you're not sure what has happened to you is considered an assault, make sure that you understand anything that makes you uncomfortable in any way, or if something that is being done to you is without your consent, it could probably be sexual abuse, assault, or harassment. So again, go look up rape culture, understand what is rape culture, go and find out all these kinds of things, and then you basically from then on you know where to go.
All right, I guess itu saja untuk this time. See you guys next time.
So heavy stuff.
This is
See you guys next time.
this is my
Bye.
friend explode.